Dominic Haddy here with Stare Down TV in association with Stare Down Fighting. I'm here with Leigh Mitchell. Leigh was going to be fighting on. He's going to be headlining, I should say, Cage Warriors Academy in October 19th in Charters Hall in Colchester. Leigh, mate, how's it going?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Everything's good.
Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. So, Leigh, I met you at Fight Star, which was probably about six weeks, 2 months ago now.
Yeah,
And we just got chatting. And you just sort of told me about your story. So I always wanted to keep an eye out for you because some of them sort of stories you like, you always hope that you sort of come back from that. So sort of I'll let you sort of explain what I mean in terms of your first pro fight.
So I fought in Liverpool last June. Everything went well in terms of like camp and things like that. Probably couldn't have gone better. The weight cut I thought went sound. Kind of came out like touch gloves. Was fighting Liam Gittins. He's obviously like a solid guy anyway, so I knew it was going to be a tough fight regardless. And then we sort of in the first exchange type thing. I just kind of either threw like a stiff jab or something off the lead hand and broke my hand pretty much like in that first exchange. Obviously spent the rest of the fight kind of just trying to survive as such. Got a few takedowns and stuff like that, but you can't really. It's hard to kind of like hold someone there with one hand, or couldn't really throw anything off that hand, obviously. But it's more like obviously it chucks all your game plan out the window. It chucks kind of like everything out of place, and obviously that panic kind of sets in. So things kind of obviously went downhill from there, and that fight obviously didn't go my way. Took a little bit of maybe like a step back with everything as well, and just for a little bit, and kind of reevaluate what I want to do. Kind of got back in the gym, like obviously where I was training for a little bit like later down the line, with guys like Charlie and Emerald was fighting on Fight Star, like you say. So I was kind of in the gym and like helping like Charlie and stuff, like obviously being there for a body for him, like sparring partner, and with some of the other guys. And then kind of things just kind of, you know how it goes, things kind of all of a sudden kind of 1 minute you're kind of in the gym like just kind of going through the motions, and then you kind of, what's the way to say it, you almost get like a little bit hooked on it, obviously. You see everyone else training for fights and stuff like that. You're doing the rounds with everyone else. Obviously, I'm getting fitter and stuff as well. So it's like you want a little bit of taste of that as well. You want to kind of get that feeling back of what you had before. Obviously, I fought a lot of times as an amateur as well. So, so it'd be kind of, I thought it'd be kind of stupid to not kind of progress with it on and get back on it.
That's it,
So,
mate.
kind of where it went.
Yeah, no, that's it, mate. That's fair enough. I like to say you fought a lot on the amateurs. I like with sites like Tapology and stuff. You got to sort of take it with a pinch of salt. I think it had something you did like maybe 10 or 12 amateur fights. Does that sound about right? Or
Yeah, something like that. About 11 to 12 amateur fights or something like that.
and that, for an amateur, that's still, you're still putting in the work. Fair enough, the rounds are shorter, but that's a lot of work you're putting in, and that's a lot of groundwork you're putting in. Like the likes of, so you see the likes of sort of like I remember Cody Garbrandt sort of being the main figure in that. As he fought like 15 times in the amateurs before he even went pro. Like nowadays, I think that's because amateur MMA wasn't really around for a long time, and now it's thriving. If you look at the shows
It's
in the
massive.
UK alone, it's huge. And like I say, Cage Warriors Academy, it's got the same sort of buzz as the main Cage Warrior shows. And to have you headline it in your second bout after after the first injury, it's obviously a lot of hype around you. And to be fair, same with your opponent Rico Biggs.
Yeah.
What did you know about Rico, or what did you know about him? I imagine you've done your research now. Did you know much about him when you got the call?
Yeah, I actually watched him fight Nathan on the last Cage Warriors at Colchester, so I was there anyway because there was like quite a few like the amateur guys from like BKK on that anyway. So I actually watched him fight. I hadn't seen him fight before that, but I planned to go at the time. I was still I debuted as a flyweight. But obviously now I'm making that jump up to bantamweight anyway. So I thought obviously anyone who's kind of at that level or like as a bantamweight, you kind of think I could potentially be fighting him at one point anyway. Like so, you kind of always kind of not look at people like. Well, yeah, you kind of do. You kind of look at people as potential like future opponents and stuff like that. Who anyone who fights at bantamweight at like that kind of, especially within like the first maybe 5 fights as a pro kind of thing, as a bantam. So I kind of paid close attention to that fight anyway, and he actually lost it. Then Jack said to me, obviously, I've got Rico for October if you want it. Obviously, it'd be my first fight back in the last year, but I took it like straight away. Like obviously, Rico's a solid guy anyway, but just to get in there. Back at Charter Hall, I've been fighting at Charter Hall since I was like 15 as an amateur. Had my first 2 fights there when I was 15 years old. And I've fought there like multiple times since. So it's always a great night. I literally live like 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away. So I get like a massive support there. It's just a great night, like a great show as well. And like you say, like a lot of the amateurs there, like there's a massive amateur card on that as well. So to be headlining that it's something special in itself, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. And like I say, usually with the Cage Warriors Academy show, there's a lot of amateur fights, but then the headlines usually a pro fight. I remember, I think it was not the last one, the one before that. It was Craig Edwards versus Scott Butters. So it was. They always like to have a big push around that. Like you say, so your first fight was in Liverpool. It was completely sort of not enemy territory, but completely out of the way. This one in your back garden.
Experience, although like kind of traveling up there, fighting on the different Cage Warriors Academy shows. I see how they kind of do things differently a little bit, and just kind of obviously it's different to be getting away from home and fighting in. Like fought up in Leeds once before, fought in Kent once. So it is nice to like kind of go and travel once in a while as well. It's nice.
That's it, man. Like you say, it's you have that sort of ability now with Cage Warriors North as well, and other northern shows. For yourself, so how is it for the last year and so? You've been at BKK, like you said, you've kind of been there a little bit sporadically, nursing your injury. Yeah. Now you come back, you're helping people out. Now that you're really in the thick of it, you're the headline, you're the number one guy over these next couple of weeks. What's the vibe like? Does it change at all, knowing that in your headspace you've got something to actually train for now?
Yeah, like the intensity changes anyway. But more so, since I came back, I don't know. It's kind of it's different from obviously I had a little while out, and you kind of realise when you start getting back in the gym regular, you sparring with all the best guys. Like we got so much talent in the gym, like all the time. So there's always a buzz like on our big Wednesday class, and like which is like where all like the competition guys. Like, well, everyone spars on the Wednesday, and then we have like another big sparring session as well as like other sessions throughout the week. The energy is always good regardless. But when everyone's fighting and everyone's at such a good level, like there's more of a buzz, if that makes sense, because everyone's got big fights coming up, and you're all there to kind of help each other out. So there is always a really nice vibe in the gym anyway, which is cool. Like we got like George, Emrah, obviously Charlie, like Craig, Steve, Aimable. Like there's so many like good guys there, like who are Emrah's like 145, us Steve. Like they're only like one. He's only like them 2 guys, for example, only like 1 weight above me. So they're kind of any 145s and below. Also, there's good amateurs who we get come down and stuff, to Chelmsford on our Wednesday class. So there's always like different guys on the mats and stuff, which is cool as well. So it is nice. But what I was going to say is, when I come back in the gym after being out for a little while, like regardless if I was competing again, like or not, I felt like there was a lot more intensity there. I don't know, just seemed to, even in the drills, like just drilling that a little bit harder, sparring that a little bit, not necessarily harder, but like a little bit smarter, bringing more pace, like more intensity to the rounds and stuff. Same in the wrestling. Like I just felt like I kind of missed out on some time, and I want that back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%, man. That was kind of leading into my next question.
Yeah.
I was reading, I was listening to an old podcast earlier on of Joe Rogan. It was when Michael Chandler was on it, and he was kind of talking about he went 688 days without a win. He lost 3 in a row, 1 to Eddie Alvarez and 2 to Phil Brook. So, and I've listened to it before, but I listened to it again because I really like it. And he was talking about sort of the mental game. For yourself, has this been a mental? Obviously, you've never had to have an injury like that before,
yeah.
And it came out of nowhere. And like you say, you're kind of just in the first combo and from that fight. So Was there any? Did you do any mental preparation in the lead up to this that made you, in your head, it could have maybe thought this is why it's more intense because you're putting in more intensity?
I wouldn't say there's any more of a mental like preparation. I think when you've even as an amateur, when you've been there, like, and you fought kind of like I fought over 10 times as an amateur type thing. It's like you've been there before. It's not like fresh every single time. Obviously, you prepare like well, we prepare the same for a fight. Like regardless of who it is, obviously fights. Some fights are bigger than others in like terms of where they kind of boost you to the next level. Or, but I've been in like exciting fights before with like guys who are now either kind of doing well as a pro or like succeeding as amateurs. I've been there with good guys before. Um, so I don't feel like I have to build myself up mentally. You kind of get that from your camp. You get that from your rounds.
Yeah.
And like the good guys you're sparring with, you kind of get that confidence from what you put into it realistically. So it's
And
not
you
like
come from
so
exactly. Now, so saying like you say, the people in your gym, you come from such an established gym, both in male and female fighters, and obviously, like you say, you got
yeah,
Jack there, you got Charlie there. It's the buzz around there. Is there always a I'll say fun competitiveness to it?
yeah, definitely. Like, of course there is. You're always kind of like everyone in the gym is really close anyway. So when you can take the piss out of each other and stuff and have a laugh of it, like, or if you maybe get the better of each other in the round, you can have a laugh about things as well. But everyone's competitive. Like everyone wants to win their rounds and stuff like that. Of course there is. Everyone, or if people don't win their rounds, they get the arse ate with it, which is like everyone loves it. Everyone's got such passion and such drive. Like everyone wants to do well. Like it's a nice atmosphere to be around, really.
No, that's it, mate. And like I said, I can tell by the intensity that you're putting in. Because I thought I'll message you and I'll message a few other fighters and I'll message Rico sort of like 3 weeks before the fight. Hopefully they're training, but it's not as intense. I was like, yeah, mate, can we get an interview? And you're like, yeah, sweet. By the way, I'm training here, I'm working here, I'm training here, I'm working here. I was like, mate, he's already on it. And same as Rico, both you guys are there to win. That's what I really respect, man.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, like you can't be taking fights if you ain't going at it 100%.
That's it. And then going on to the promotion side of it, I saw Cage Warriors posted about you and Rico of you, running across the field.
That was cool.
Looking like a banking advert or something. It looked good, mate. But how much time did that all take? Was that like
Um,
a lot of time out of the training?
I trained. I did that all before our big Wednesday session.
Oh,
Like that was literally. I come straight from work, so I work Monday to Friday as well. And train every day. Like on top of that, whether it be once as well as like a run or something like that. Um, so I did a day's work somewhere. I can't remember where it was. Made sure I left on time. Um, went over and done some filming with the Reach or Peak guys. And then obviously like hit the hip pads and stuff and got some cool footage in the gym of like either lifting some weights or hitting pads with Jack. And then we went out onto like the field. And there's like one of them kind of body weight setups that you get
yeah,
sometimes in one of the like parks in Chelmsford.
yeah,
And like Jack was like, I hope you can still do muscle ups. He's like, you're gonna have to jump up there and do some muscle ups and shit. Because I always used to do them at like the one of the gyms we had before, where we used to have like a bodyweight frame next to the mat,
yeah.
which was quite cool. So I used to always dick about on there and stuff. Obviously, I don't weigh much, so it's not that hard to chuck your own body weight around. But that was all so cool. Like I've never done any of that stuff before. Like the guys got out a drone and started filming me like running with a drone and stuff. It was so cool. Like it's so nice to be able to kind of get that kind of treatment as well. Like it's awesome. It is all so cool. The
I
media
bet
stuff,
it's
time it
yeah, that's
has.
it, mate. I bet people watching, young kid running across the field, getting chased by a drone. I thought, well, I don't know what this geezer's done, but it's some dodgy shit.
It was quite funny because all the people, like, there's people walking their dogs and stuff as well, and these drones make such a weird noise. They're like,
Yeah.
and these dogs are all like turning their heads and kind of like, yeah,
Mate,
higher so the dog couldn't see them, and then like it was quite cool to
that's
be.
it, mate. Shout out to Reach Your Peak TV. Some of the stuff that yourself with
Honest.
Rico, Luke Trainer. I saw the one they did with Chloe Cook as well. Like from all I've heard from Chloe, she's a lovely girl, but in that she's like a terrifying savage. So they are shit hot on that.
Oh, they do.
That's it, mate. So obviously going forward now, these next 3 weeks, how do they look for you? Obviously, like you said, the intensity's already there. When
Yeah.
do you start drilling down? I imagine that's up to Jack to tell you when to really sort of pulling it back. But for you yourself, where are you at in terms of okay, can you not wait for the fight? Do you still feel like it's ages away? Like where are you at right now?
So I'm at the point now where like my weight is obviously I'm moving up to 135 as I said like earlier. I'm not absolutely killing myself trying to make weight like 125. Like it always used to absolutely like murder me getting there. And for like the last like maybe 4 or 5 fights that I've probably had, I've like felt like half dead on the day. Like it was a bit of a struggle getting there. So the last like it's all kind of quite old because I've never fought 135 before. With like a proper cut and a camp and everything. So I feel absolutely amazing in the gym. Like that's what I'm not used to having like 2.5 weeks out. I'm used to feeling like on death's door, starting to feel every little niggle, like being cold all the time where I've got no body fat whatsoever. So it's just nice to be able to still feel strong, still literally like put it all in the rounds and not feel like I'm tired, but kind of dragging myself through it because I have to make weight. Like it's more about the fight itself rather than making weight, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's it. Like there's a lot of people that say the battle is the weight, and they're so focused solely on that.
Anymore. I haven't got that battle, so it's all about just getting in that training, like getting it in every day, putting 100% into it. So it's nice. It's just I feel sharp in the rounds, literally like probably the sharpest I've ever been. My stand-up's looking great. My wrestling's always been kind of solid anyway, but that's still just as good as it ever has been. The hand isn't a problem, so everything kind of feels like it's falling into place, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, bruv, when the fuck do you ever have body fat? I've seen the pictures of you they're putting up on there. When do you ever have body fat?
Oh mate, I came back and I was a little bit chubby. I come back at like probably like 74 kilos. Like when I can't remember when it was now. It was like months and months ago, but so I've just been getting more shredded. Obviously, like I never used to have that much body fat. Obviously, like naturally, I'm quite a like trim guy anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously, there was a time when I took that step back. I was just chucking weights about and stuff like that. And you diet when you kind of just casually lifting weights or whatever. You're not dieting as much, but it's quite funny. Like I always have abs, but they're just not that great when I'm not dieting. If that makes sense.
I'm ending this interview now. Fuck off, mate.
But they're not the best. They're like fat person abs.
Fair. Well, I'm not even talking about abs no more. Fuck off. So in terms of you say you work full time, Monday to Friday. What is it you do?
I work for a carpenter and general builder, so it's a lot of lugging stuff and doing bits and pieces like that as well. So
no, that's good, man. In terms of your nutrition, do you have anyone in play, or have you sort of learned from yourself?
So I don't have anyone in place at the minute. My last weight cut, well, I used to work in a gym anyway. I qualified as a personal trainer and stuff like that. So you do like a big chunk of nutrition on that course anyway.
Yeah.
So I've got like a basic, I say a reasonable knowledge of like nutrition without getting too sciencey into it. So I calorie counted for my last fight because I had so much to cut. Literally everything, whacked it in my fitness pal and like without getting crazy, was just trying to eat like a deadline of calories while moving as much as I can, like literally. But this time, like I said, I haven't got the stress of doing that because it ain't so extreme.
Yeah.
But I know, like I weigh myself like 4 times a day. Like it's ridiculous. I get up first thing in the morning, take a piss, weigh myself, and if I'm still hanging around, like, I'll either eat something, even though I've already weighed myself, I'll jump back on and like throughout the day or whatever, just see what's happening, see how I am after I've eaten food and bits and pieces, and before I go to bed, I weigh myself. So if it creeps up, say for example, if I don't weigh anything less on the day before, or like over the next couple of days, I think right, I'll reel it in a bit more. Not winging it, but obviously I don't have to be as extreme with it, so it isn't so much of an issue. Like still eating really well as well. That's the thing. Like obviously wouldn't eat rubbish anyway because I'm in camp anyway. But just like energy foods before training, kind of like natural fats, carbs, like just clean, like natural foods, lots of like fruit, and then after training it'll be no carbs, like kind of veg, like meat sauce, like just the basics, no heavy carbs after training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just trying to drink as much water as I can. Like it ain't a drama this time, which is nice. No, not that much stress. And also, it takes time as well. I literally haven't got the time to be cooking stuff. I don't have time for that. I get up at the crack of dawn, go to work, come back, literally sleep. Like before we started talking, I was sleeping for 40 minutes, trying to like half hour, 40 minutes, just trying to get some sleep in.
Yeah.
Go and train later on. So.
Mate, fair enough. That's the difference right there between people that say they want to fight and they might do a bit of training, people that are actually putting in the work. Have you thought about what the first meal is going to be after the fight?
After the fight, no, I haven't actually. I love pies and stuff like that. Like I ain't really got a sweet tooth, but pastries and like homemade pies and stuff. My mum's a good cook, so I'm sure she'll whip me up something nice. But no, it's all good. I do love my food as well.
Yeah.
So, mate,
Mate,
but I
best
don't
of
want
both
to.
worlds.
That's another thing. Like after I want to kind of be in there within the next couple of months. I don't want to be leaving it long. I want to have a nice busy 6 months, like 8 months or so. I want to get
Yeah.
some fight.
But that's it. That was sort of like my final big question. Obviously, I know working closely with Jack, and he is the association with Cage Warriors Academy.
Yeah.
Were you looking just to stay on Cage Warriors, or were you happy to move around? Like, there's Fight Star in December. Like, obviously, you were at that show. Would you be up for moving around, or?
It all depends what comes my way. That's the thing. Like, I think I leave things like with Jack realistically.
Yeah.
But we're always obviously talking. Like, I'll say to him, he'll say to me, "This has come in. Do you want it?" Or, I think we should go for this, maybe. Or like, we'll talk about stuff anyway. But want to get back in there regular after October 19th.
Nice, mate. And not to look beyond the fight. Yeah.
Not just saying that as if I win, then we'll get straight back in there. Like regardless, win or lose, I want to get back in there and keep it regular.
That's good, man. Like I said, not looking past the fight, but would that sort of work up time-wise? Like I say, win, lose, but a good performance. You come out unscathed. Like 2 months, I think it's December 14th, so just before Christmas. Would that kind of work out in your head well? Like you say, you want to get as regular as possible.
Yeah, right back in there. That would be nice. Something like that. But if there's something about before the end of the year, that'd be great. But like I say, we'll see what happens. Make sure, like, I'm not going to jinx anything with like bloody busted hands and whatnot. But as long as everything's good, no injuries, have a great fight October. No injuries, win or a loss, I want to get back in there as soon as possible.
That's quality to hear, mate. Look, mate, I'm not going to take up much more of your time because I know you've got training, but I do appreciate this, and I'll be there on the night, so we'll. It'd be good to have a catch up after.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Quality, man. Have yourself a good one. Have a good training. I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Bye.